In the beginning of the game, it's just ambiance, it's just storytelling. But then just out of nowhere, enemies start appearing. I am playing this a step above normal. I was actually quite surprised on how difficult of an experience I was having. Like, yes, I put it on hard, but it was a little bit different because the combat in the beginning, it's R1 for light attack, R2 for heavy attack. And I'm just trying to figure out like what kind of combos there are. Like, how do you fight these? And there's not really any combos, you know? You can do 2 heavy attacks or you can do like 4 light attacks, but you can kind of mix it up a little bit. And what makes the game more difficult is when there starts to become more than one enemy. The difficulty with just 3 enemies, it takes a few times when you're trying to figure out the pattern. For the first enemies that appeared, that if you use heavy attack twice and there's no other enemies attacking you, you're gonna stun lock them. You're gonna put them in a stun lock, and I'm like, oh, now the game has just become easy. I was also getting really tired. I was like, you know, pressing R1 a lot or R2 a lot, and it was like hurting, you know? I'm just wondering if I'm just getting older, or I'm just typing too much or something, but yeah, no, just video games require a lot of button mashing, and I'm just not as good at button mashing as I used to be. Wolves eventually appear. You can still stun lock them with 2 heavy attacks, but it's not as easy. You gotta do a lot more evading, and if there's 2 or 3 wolves at the same time, you're gonna have a tough time. All right, now I've played later on in the game, so I know that the boy has an arrow that can distract enemies, that can build up a finisher. It seems to take a more tactical approach rather than comboing enemies. You know, like I'm used to games like Bayonetta, where you have a combo in mind and you just try to figure out the best combos for the best enemies. But that's not the case here. The case is more tactical. Where's the best position to be in, and what kind of attacks can you do in a certain period of time? Sometimes you can't do 2 heavy attacks. You'll be vulnerable. You have to do some light attacks and learn when to evade. That's what's really, really important in this game. One final note about what I've been playing through so far is that I actually got lost at around the end. I just didn't know where I was going. I was trying to figure it out, but I for the life of me, I could not figure out what I was doing wrong, where I was going, and I actually needed a guide at the end of it. It was funny. It was a very funny experience, but I'm glad I had it. I'm glad I'm playing through this game.